Here's a question for you. What are these people doing? Every day, millions of us leave buildings, offices, sports grounds, and we leave safely. There's usually no reason to rush, but what if you are in a hurry? Supposing there was a fire, how would you get out then? When a small fire started at Bradford City football ground, the fans clearly had no idea how quickly it could spread. The result was horrific. There was no fire alarm to warn them, no fire marshals to help them to safety. You can see the panic, feel the fear of the people trying to escape. In less than 4 minutes, more than 50 people died at Bradford.
Those terrible scenes are why fire marshals are so important, why you're so important, and it's the role of the fire marshal that we'll be looking at in this video. Your role as a fire marshal doesn't just start when the fire alarm operates. You need to prevent fires from starting. And if a fire should start, you need to know how to stop it spreading throughout the building. Now let's go into this building and see if we can spot any potential fire hazards. Spot the first. Now this is a fire door and should be kept closed to stop smoke spreading around the building. Here's another. You wouldn't believe what people use fire extinguishers for, but they should always be in the right place so they're ready for people in an emergency. Now here's an extension lead. It's live, but what's wrong with it? Well, the answer is that it's still wound up on its reel, and if it's used with the wrong sort of equipment like this powerful heater, then it could overheat and catch fire. And if you think that couldn't happen to you, then so did the owner of this one.
Take a look around this office. Office equipment can give off a lot of heat, and if the vents get covered, then that's just asking for trouble.
Every company has one of these, a mains electricity supply cupboard. It should have a fire door which should be kept locked. I wonder if your company's electricity supply cupboard looks like this one. It's an accident waiting to happen. Now, if there is a fire in this building, you need to sound the alarm immediately. But where is the fire alarm call point? Can you see the hammer? You could lose precious seconds trying to find this, and this really should be kept visible at all times. Every building has escape routes, but they don't end when you get here to the final fire exit. There could be a blockage outside. Maybe they're digging the path, or perhaps some fool has parked a car right outside. So you have to check it's clear right through to the final assembly point.
In a real fire, it's not just lives that fire marshals can save. Companies lose hundreds of millions of pounds a year in fire damage. Before there is a blaze, you can get advice from the fire service. They are only happy to give it, and it's free. So far, we have been looking at the everyday things that a fire marshal has to do in an emergency. As soon as the alarm sounds, people must get out of the building, and the person responsible for calling the fire service must do it.
It doesn't matter who makes the call. Security, receptionist, whoever it is must know that it's their job, and if they're not going to be around, that there's always someone who's going to act as a backup for them. The most important thing is speed, because fire spreads very quickly.
To make sure everybody is out, you should do a roll call, or a sweep of the building, or even both. don't forget the visitors. If you decide to have a roll call, you must be certain that the names read out are an up-to-date list of who is in the building, and that includes staff, temporaries, visitors and contractors, anyone who might be in there. If someone leaves the building without telling anyone, even for a few minutes, then the fire service could waste valuable time searching for someone who's not really missing. So roll calls only really work if you keep a tight control on your staff and visitors. But if you can't do this, then a sweep of the building will probably be effective. The checking should be done by fire marshals who are responsible for set areas near to their desk or workplace. The number of fire marshals depends on the size of your building, but no area should take more than 60 seconds to check. Fire marshals can now obtain these special armbands, which can be worn in drills and real emergencies. They're great because they instantly identify those in charge of the escape. If you suspect there is a fire behind any door, then obviously don't go into that room. When you have finished your search, go to the assembly point and remember to tell your supervisor about any room that you have been unable to search.
Now it's your turn to imagine that you're starting a search, but where would you start the search from? Well, the answer is to start from the furthest point away from the fire exit. That way you're always working towards somewhere safe. Now glass doors like this one can help you search a room, but what if there is no glass in the doors? Doors that open towards you need special care. You have to put your foot against them to stop a rush of air actually feeding the fire. So you need to crouch down, just crack the door open and make sure there's no fire in there, and then go in and make sure the room is clear.
To get people out of the building safely and to stop them using lifts, it may help to have fire marshals positioned on the stairs. And door marshals will stop people dashing back into the building until given the all clear. And don't forget the disabled. There must be procedures to help them. And not just the permanently disabled, but those with a twisted ankle, a sports injury, or perhaps heavily pregnant.
And that's it, that's fire marshalling. It's a really vital job, yet most of it can be done as you go about your daily work. And the fire drills, well, they last about 15 minutes. Whereas a real fire disrupts people's lives forever.
Remember, fire spreads unbelievably quickly. It took just over 3 minutes to destroy this entire building.